Hello and welcome to another garden update video. This is going to be a big one. We have a lot of updates to get through. We have my giant chili plants. We're going to see how they're doing. We have my hydroponics experiment, see if they're still alive. We have a lot of new ripe fruit coming through on my chili plants. We have some watermelons to check out and a whole bunch more. So stick around, this is going to be a good one. Let's start off in Little Chump and see how the hydroponics experiment has been going. These plants are looking healthy. They've only been in here about a week, just over a week, and they're still alive, so that's one good sign. We can see that this one here has quite a few peppers coming through that are ripening up. This is my big black mama, and there's three very ripe pods on there, very scary looking pods. But that's not because it's in hydro or anything like that. There already were some really developed fruits on this plant, and they're bound to ripen up anyway. The good news is the leaves are still healthy. The plant's not dropping leaves. This one here has dropped a couple leaves, but that's because the dripper was actually dripping onto those leaves. So that's kind of why that's happened. But these plants are looking healthy. We'll be able to see a bit more progress over the next couple of weeks. We'll be able to tell whether they're growing well, how healthy they're doing, and that sort of thing. But so far so good, and we'll keep an eye on this project as it develops. This is looking good. Lots of new fruit there. Nothing too ripe on this one. I think this is one of my Malawian Piquante. I'll be able to confirm that in a second. Let me just check. Yep, that's a Peppadew, which is a Malawian Piquante, and it's doing well. It's going to be nice to get some fruit off of that because they are very tasty peppers. And let's take a look at a couple others. Lots of flowers, which is nice to see, and some peppers coming through on there. What have we got over here? This one here I think is a Serrano, but again we can confirm. Yeah, that is a Serrano, and it's not as big as maybe I'd like, but yeah, it's got some pods on it. We can see that it has had a little bit of insect damage on it. A bit of a problem with my irrigation system, so these plants were quite stressed, and when the plants get stressed, then they open themselves up for insect damage. You'll notice that the chilies in the larger greenhouse don't have the same problem. If we go along here, you can see a bit more of that damage. I can feel the leaves are quite sticky. You can actually hear it. I don't know if you can hear that. Over here we have my jalapenos. We're going to be picking a few for this weekend. Beautiful sized ones. And that's just a beautiful specimen. Look at that. But these here are all jalapenos, about 15 plants, and all different types. They're not all the same variety. That's why you'll see some that are different sizes than others. These are quite thin and pointed, and these here, these are what I like to see. These are my ideal sort of form of a jalapeno. Here's some more pointy ones. Let's see which type this one is. Jalapeno Early from Sea Spring Seeds. So there's a bit of a nicer one there, nice and meaty, chunky boy. A lot of people, when they grow chilies, they're mainly growing Superhots and all these exotic types, but I promise you, you're going to get far more use out of some of the general types like a jalapeno or a Cayenne, that sort of thing. Peri peri, every time you've got to grow some peri peri, but definitely grow some jalapenos. They're just such a lovely fruit, and you can use them in so many different ways. So I would recommend at least 1 or 2 plants should be a jalapeno in your grow. We can see a few others ripening up. I'm not sure what this is. Is this a Frigatello? I am not sure. It's a Padron, actually. Somebody was asking me about Padron the other day, and well, there you go. This is my Padron plant. And got quite a few coming through again. I'd like this plant to get a bit bigger, and it will get bigger we're in for a bit of a heat wave in the UK over the next little while, and I'm sure that's going to do our plants a lot of good. Here we can see this one needs a bit of support. It is getting very heavy with all the pods coming on. Is there any problem with the stem? No, I don't think so. But yeah, that needs a support. I'll probably string it up to the ceiling of the greenhouse or put a little stake into the soil itself. So these plants are looking good. I think these here are quite a few of my Cayenne and quite a few ripe ones there as well. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's my Cayenne long slim. They actually look pretty good. Look at that, nice long length. We've got some ripe ones coming through. It's a bit overripe actually. But some lovely ones coming through. Looking forward to trying those. And back there, check that out. Isn't that amazing? There's more pods on there than leaves. That is insane. Let me check. I think this is my Kashmiri Mirch. And yes, it is. These are what I made my green mamba sauce with. Well, I use quite a lot of them. They're not very hot, but they're very flavorful. I'm really keen to try them out when they are ripe, because they apparently are very tasty chili. But isn't that insane? Just so many pods. Lovely to see this as a much bigger plant as well. Let's go move on to Big Chump and see what's going on with my giant chili plants. But first things first, I think we need to go and check in on the ChilliChump Seedkit. I love this time of day. We have the sun going down just behind me over there, and we have the most beautiful sunset here in Lincolnshire. And it's a little bit cooler in the greenhouse, even though it is still warm. I'm sweating even when it has dropped the temperatures quite a bit, but it's been a very warm day today. I love stepping in here. It's just a real joy to see all these plants looking so healthy. Just take a look at what I get to see every time I step in here. It's just glorious. And yeah, I'm holding this camera up at my eye line so you can see how big these plants are getting. It's just incredible. Quite a bit more growth in here than in Little Chump. And there's a few reasons behind that, and we will talk about that in the future. But it's just lovely, lovely to see. So these here are my ChilliChump Seedkit plants, and let's have a look. First one is this over here. This is Sugar Rush Stripey. I don't even really need to check because I know it is, and you can see that by the lovely pods that are on here. I picked one today, and I'll stick a picture of it up on the screen because I actually ate it. Forgot that I was doing this update video today, but you can see some others starting to ripen. They take a little while, about a month to ripen, but they are very, very pretty looking peppers. But they stay this color for about a month, and then they start getting this lovely striped effect. There's kinda, no, still ripening. So just be patient if you are growing these, because it does take a while. And over here, we have a few coming through. Which one is this? Number 145. By the way, I'm scanning into Seedsio. This is my Spanish Giant. Spanish Giant, the pods should be a lot bigger. Like I said, I'm scanning my application Seedsio, so all my plants are tagged with NFC tags. And you can sign up as well. You can use Seedsio just the way I'm using it, and it is a very, very useful application, right from seed starting all the way to harvest. And it's only going to get better. Actually, there's a pretty cool bit of functionality coming very soon. But these aren't as big as I hoped. Hopefully a little bit later in the season, now that I've changed over my nutrient mix. And I'll talk about that actually in the video I put out on Wednesday this week. But I changed my nutrient mix around about this time because I want to start focusing the plants. I want to start shifting the focus to growing pods and flowers. But I am still interested in getting these plants a little bit bigger. I'm expecting them to be probably another foot and a half high, ultimately around about 4.5 feet or so. This over here is a bird's eye baby, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's a bird's eye baby. It's a beautiful little plant. I think it's more of a ornamental than anything else. We have got some ripe peppers in there right in the middle. Tiny little things, look at those. Really cute. But this whole plant is actually really cute. Let me move this away. So there you have it. Isn't that just gorgeous? And all the ripe pods hiding around the back here. Look at those tiny little things. Wouldn't be very practical to be picking these for a sauce, but I'll do something with them a little bit later in the season. But beautiful, beautiful plant. Tiny little leaves, and I think it would really make a great indoor ornamental. We have another one at the back there. Again, very small. This one here doesn't have, well, it does actually have some pods. I think this might be a Baccatum. It's a Bishop's Crown, so yeah, it is a Baccatum. And got some small pods on here. So the Bishop's Crown is quite an interesting looking one. How are your ChilliChump Seedkit plants doing? There you go, you can see the Bishop's Crown. It should be bigger than that, but that's roughly what this would look like. How are yours getting on? I'm hoping you're having a bigger harvest than I am. And if you aren't, don't worry, there is still time in the season. So let's move on from the ChilliChump Seedkit onto something that I am just in love with this year. Look at all the colors. Isn't that just stunning? Got purple, yellow, orange, red, a bit of a cream color. Oh, it's just beautiful, and lovely purple flowers as well. Just gorgeous. And about as gorgeous is the Buena Mulata, always a favorite of mine. They are very early fruiting, and they start off this purple color and finish up this darker red. And it's a beautiful, beautiful plant. Definitely grow a Buena Mulata if you can. They actually taste pretty decent as well, so yeah, definitely worth it. This is a Rocoto, and you can see some ripe ones coming through. Look at that lovely deep orange. And inside there, these things have black seeds. These plants can get quite large. They're very thick flesh. They're very sweet and juicy as well, but they do have some heat. These plants are towering over me, and you know, I just love it. I come in here and it just feels like I'm in a jungle. But these are my peri-peris. So these are my CC peri-peris. You can see they shoot up. You get massive, massive stems, and then they're just going to branch out, and you're going to have so many chilies. We already have a few chilies coming through. You can see there. And yeah, these are looking very healthy, but all of the CC peri-peris are sitting up high like that. That's just so cool. A little bit smaller than them are my Moz peri-peris. These guys over here. A lot more flowers on these. They seem to have set fruit a lot sooner than my CC peri-peri. And that's not necessarily a good thing, because these plants will be laden with fruit in not too long. Whereas these might not be as prolific, but we'll see how they go. I'm sure they'll both catch up with each other as the season moves on. But yeah, lovely, lovely plants, all of these. Stunning. Let's go take a look at the Superhots, and then we'll move on to looking at my giant experiment. Over here, this entire row, staging that goes all the way along here, those are all Superhots. Well, I lie, there are a couple that aren't. Over here, this middle section, this is for some of my plants that are a bit special to me, including this one over here, which is my F2 Lemon Peri. We have some pods coming through, but I haven't isolated them yet, so you can see they are starting to come through there. And the plant is doing well. When you look at the growth down there, it's pretty serious. Much bigger than any of the other plants, but I did start this back in October. But let's move across. Let's have a look at some of these Superhots. Look how big and beefy these stems are. Look at that. That's just awesome. We have some ripe ones. I keep seeing these when I walk into the greenhouse because they're right at the entrance. These are Nagas, I believe. Let me just confirm. We have a few in there. Yeah, that's a Naga Morich. Again, Naga Morich, the plant should get a lot bigger. I expect this to almost triple in size, so I'm expecting it to be up to here at least as the season goes on. But you can see some ripe pods under there, and we've got quite a few coming through there. And some ripe ones around that side as well. That's a much better specimen, look at that. Lovely. I did see some more ripe ones. There's another little ripe red one over there, and I did see a chocolate one over here. Now, is this a big black mama? I can see it hiding over there. Yeah, this is another big black mama. Same as the one that I have in my hydro system. And look at that, just gnarly, gnarly pod. That's lovely. And nice and ripe. And there's a few other green ones on there as well. But again, this plant will grow much bigger. Oh, let's have a look. What else have we got to show you? This here is my Fushimi. This is the one that I showed you in a few videos in the beginning of the season. It was growing in a very weird way. These leaves are doing some very strange things, but we have got fruit, and we've also got some ripe fruit on here. So this is something I think I will be growing on next year, because there's a bit of stripiness going on there. Check it out. And the ripe ones, not as stripy, but it's good that it is actually fruiting. But we will keep some seeds from this and grow it on and see what we get as the generations move on. Wow, there's some beasts back there. I think that is some of my beloved Antep Ahidonas. Let me confirm. No, that is a Scotch bonnet. Wow, that's a beast of a Scotch bonnet. Doesn't look like a typical Scotch bonnet to me, but still lovely, big, ripe and red. Down this end of the staging is some of my hotter chilies. These are over a million Scoville on average. We have some 7-pot Primos, that's this plant over here. We have some Primo Talis, golden Primo Talis, and we have some red Primo Talis and a bunch of other things like that. No fruits yet. Well, there's some fruits back there. What is that plant? Didn't see those before when I'd come in. That is, it's my 7-pot bubblegum. Let's have a look. Lovely, look at that, calyx, lovely and red. Lovely trait that I'm trying to grow on. These are ones that I've saved, these seeds, from a great specimen that I had last year. And I'm just glad that it's growing out the same way with that lovely red calyx. And we have a few fruit coming through on this one. So yeah, no, I'm really happy with these. And they're definitely going to be doubling, if not tripling in size over the next few weeks and months. So I'm looking forward to seeing that, and I'm sure you're looking forward to seeing an update on that. Before the sun goes down too much and it gets dark in here, let's take a look at my beasts. Have a look at that. Isn't that just incredible to look at? I've been trying to support it with some string and bamboo supports, and we're going to keep doing that as it grows. We're going to get it, well, we'll see how high we can get it, but I'm guessing this will hit about 8 or 9 feet, so around about there. But we will see. At this moment, it's just growing incredibly well. We have a few flowers coming through. We have a few fruit coming through as well. There's one down there. But at the moment, I'm glad to see that it's mainly the foliage that's growing, and that was obviously the plan because of the way I'm feeding it. So we'll see how that develops. But at the moment, it's just over 4 feet high. The one next to it, that's not the second biggest one. So this one here is Koers, and we have Frikkie, which is down the other end of these. I have 4 of these in massive pots, and that one over there is my second biggest pot. So that one over there, 160 liter, I believe, and that one is a 90 liter. Now, it's growing quite well, but obviously not as big as Koers over there. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on Frikkie. I will check maybe the drippers that I'm using are clogged. Maybe it's not getting as much nutrients, but if we come down to eye level, this is the level of Frikkie, and you can see there, I'd say that Koers is probably sitting about there in comparison, so a good 1.5 feet. But They're doing really well, and I'm really excited to see what they look like at the end of the season. While we're on this side of the greenhouse, let's take a look at this gorgeous thing. This is my watermelon. I'm so excited to have a watermelon in the UK. I didn't actually think you could grow a watermelon in the UK, but look at that thing. It's so heavy. I'm worried that it's going to break my shelf. And I noticed the other day that one was growing through here. So it's actually growing through the shelf, and I didn't get to it in time to be able to pull it up through that hole. So it's just going to have to grow through there and see if it actually will grow as big as this. I just can't really see it being able to support it, but we'll see. I don't know. I might be proven wrong. But this one here, I'm really excited about. And we have a couple others as well. So I have 3 watermelon plants in my greenhouse. These are the other 2. And we have a lovely watermelon coming through here. This is probably as big, I'd say, as the one over there. So yeah, that's doing pretty well. It's a smaller pot, quite a bit smaller. And this one here is a much smaller pot, and it's also a watermelon. I found a watermelon growing just off a stem, so I decided to create a little bra for it, basically, just to support it. And I have that running up to the ceiling, just to support it so it doesn't break the plant or the stem or fall off or anything like that. And yeah, it's probably tripled in size since I put it inside there. So there's an update on the watermelons. I know a few of you are asking about them. Tomatoes, yeah, I really wish I didn't grow tomatoes inside the greenhouse. Next year I will not be growing tomatoes inside the greenhouse. These will all be grown outside in the raised beds. But we have got some fruit coming through. It's just tomatoes need a very different watering cycle than chilies. So it's a bit of a pain to look after these. Obviously my priority are always going to be the chilies. So I look after the tomatoes when I can, but yeah, definitely not going to be growing them inside the greenhouse next year. These are my eggplants. Still have not seen any eggplants come through, or aubergines. A lot of flowers, but none of them are taking. I have 2 over there, and we have another 2 around here. And since the last update, where a lot of people were telling me to get another Tomatillo plant in the greenhouse, look at this thing. I started this just after that video. This I started from seed, and look at the height of it. It's the same height as that one. Obviously it's quite a bit different than that one. It's not as bushy and all that, but man, it shot up and it's doing really well. It's even started to put out some flowers, so I'm sure we'll be getting tons of tomatillos soon. So basically, if you are growing tomatillos, you need to have at least 2 plants in vicinity of each other. It just helps them pollinate a lot easier. They can self-pollinate, but they don't self-pollinate as easily as if there's another plant around. So I had a few comments about that in a couple of my videos now, and I made sure to rectify it. So I do love tomatillos. They taste so good. Thanks to Kelly for introducing me to them. But I'm sure I'm going to have plenty coming through very soon. Let's go take a quick look at the raised beds and see how they are doing, and also check in on my giant pumpkin. I really would like to get a record this year. And when I say record, I don't mean in comparison to other people, more a record for myself. I think a 50 kilogram pumpkin would be nice. Bigger than that would be really nice, but we've got some good progress of this. So let's first go and look at the pumpkin. This is my dedicated pumpkin bed. I only have 1 plant in there, and this thing is just growing like a weed. It is stretching out everywhere. We have got a couple pumpkins started. I don't necessarily want the pumpkins that are coming off the side shoots like that, so I probably will pick that off. I want a pumpkin that is coming off the main stem, which is over there in the soil. So we'll try and find one. It's a bit difficult with all the grass. There's another one down there off the side shoot. But this thing is just growing like crazy. I've been feeding it like crazy as well, so I guess it's to be expected. But let's see if we can get a massive pumpkin. This is my raised bed vegetable garden. Gem squashes, we have some courgettes over there. They're all just starting to take off, and over the next little while, hopefully we have some rain and these will just take off like crazy, hoping to get them to trail all the way over my arches. The corn is looking good and nice to see. We have some corn starting, so maybe in the next 2 weeks we'll have some corn that we can eat, because we have a big barbecue braai happening. We're actually having a spit braai with some of my family, and it'd be nice to have some fresh corn from the garden. Over there, those are my outdoor tomatoes, and they are doing fantastically. Outdoor chilies, however, not so much. They are growing, and we got some big old chilies growing here. I think this is a Big Jim Numex, and we've got quite a few coming through there, but you can see the other plants are not doing terribly well. So yeah, just not great for outdoor growing. But we'll see. I'll still keep looking after them as the season goes on, and we'll see how they do. Maybe there's certain varieties that do better outdoors than others, but at the moment none are looking too impressive. Got lots of peas. I keep coming out here and snacking on them. Love peas. Pick them when they're a little bit younger, and you got some lovely sweet peas. But yeah, I've got loads coming through at the moment, but this needs to grow a bit bigger. I want it to trail up here, and then we can get even more. Whole lot of pak choy. We really love pak choy. It's great on the braai, it's great grilled, it is just a great vegetable. Got some cauliflowers that are kind of doing okay. That one there is doing really well. Started that in hydro before I planted it outdoors. My asparagus bed is still doing really well. It might not look like it, but there's lots of new shoots coming through and new asparagus coming through, so it's pretty healthy. And then over here we have some Chinese cabbage. I think I planted them way too close together, but got Chinese cabbage and then some plain cabbage over here as well. And yeah, there's the tomatoes. They are doing amazingly outdoors. So yeah, definitely next year I'll be doing the same thing as I've done in this bed. I'll be doing in that bed with the tomatoes, and then I'll have more space for chilies inside my greenhouse. Thank you for joining me on this garden update video. I know it's probably been quite a long one, but I really do appreciate you coming along with me while I do a tour around my garden. I hope that your season is going as well as mine. This time last year, my garden was not looking anywhere near this good, and all the hard work has finally paid off. You really do reap what you sow. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Until then, stay spicy.